Hi Jason, it's really nice to meet you. I'm just thinking, I knew of you many, many years ago, 20 odd years ago, when you were a very young jazz musician that we were described as the finest jazz musician the country has ever produced.
Yeah, that's my mum.
That's your mum.
You can't trust her.
But now you've done many things working over the last 12 years or so. You've worked with touring with Sting and Jeff Beck and so on. But now you're kind of had this comeback with this new album, really, haven't you? You know, as the first album in quite some time.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's about 14 or 15 years. Really?
So tell us about how this little journey that you've had to get to.
Well, basically, I spent about 12 years touring with Sting, 6 years with Sting, then about 6 with Jeff Beck. And I think it was just, sometimes in your life you reach a point where you just think, all right, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
I'd like to do something different. Also, I was away quite a lot, and my kids were, at that age of sort of turning from boys to men, if you like, the sort of early teens.
Did they come with you on tour?
They did, but as they got older, with school and everything, it meant that they couldn't really come out very easily. So I felt it was a good time to sort of change direction a bit, and the sort of obvious thing seemed to be to do another album. And when I was touring, people would often email me and say, "You've got to do another album," and all that. So I sort of thought it's probably time. It's a bit scary as well, to be honest, when you haven't done it for a while.
Yes, I can imagine you would.
I came back to see the sort of jazz scene, and I was blown away by the talent. I mean, there's some incredible young musicians about. So
can you describe us about this? What kind of style of music this new album, and tell us about the people you collaborated with as well?
Well, everyone on it are friends of mine, people I've known and worked with, for probably 25 years. Some of them. It features singing a lot because I'm not very good at singing, but I love the voice, and I love the sound of vocal harmonies and all that sort of stuff. So I thought I'll just ask friends of mine, basically people that I've worked with and known, to come and do a track. So there's actually 6 vocal tracks and 4 instrumental tracks.
And what about releasing those as singles?
Well, we're just at the moment releasing one of the tracks which features Joy Rose, who I've known probably.
That's the one I listened to. I really like.
So we are actually releasing that. It's called New Joy. It's a single. Yeah,
fantastic, great. So I'd like to talk about, actually, to go back early in your early career, because you were 19 when you hit the jazz scene, and described as a veteran of the jazz world at 19. How did that feel like at the time?
Well, it's funny looking back on it, because it's like anything, when you're in it, you don't have anything to compare it to, so really it felt normal for me. It was exciting. It was exciting having so much success.
Because you didn't have the struggles, really, that a lot of people have now.
I had the same struggles in terms of practicing and playing and all those things.
But you were recognised very early on.
I had a lot of success early on, but in a way, I didn't. That wasn't my real motivation, if you like, for doing it. I wanted to be better at music. I loved playing, and so in a way, the success was sort of a side effect, if you like. It was a bonus, but it wasn't the main reason.
That wasn't the main reason for why you're doing it. No. And what motivated you at that age? Because an average 19-year-old would be wanting to go out and party and so on. You did. You did that as well.
I think that the two things for me were one, just the love of the music, just being completely sort of besotted with jazz.
Once you get the jazz bug.
Yeah. But I think also mixed in that was I wanted to be respected by other musicians that I respected. So that was quite a good.
Who were your influences back then?
well, there was quite a few. I mean, Herbie Hancock was one of my biggest influences.
And he's produced you. Has he produced you?
Wayne Shorter.
Wayne Shorter. Sorry, I got that wrong. Yeah,
Wayne Shorter was another huge influence.
Yeah.
And then people like Julian Joseph has been a huge influence on me. He introduced me to a lot of fantastic music, and helped me when I was younger. And you know, I mean, there's so many people, and you have to start to unravel it all.
Yeah, and we, I was going to ask you, in comparison to the young people of today, you know, the Justin Biebers of the world, or you know, when they're going for the fame rather than the actual talent, you know, nurturing their talent, as they're chasing this fame. It's like, you know, what would you say to people on that journey?
Well, I think, without wanting to sound too much like an old fogey, but you know, in the good old days, people became famous because they were really good at something, you know. And I think it's a shame now that fame is now seen as just a thing in itself. You don't have to really be good at anything. You just have to be famous for maybe being bad, you know, going out and drinking or going to clubs and things. So
it's almost as if they're, you know, when they do something like that, they get on the front covers, don't they, for doing something bad.
So really, but that means that we're actually creating a society where we are putting fame on a pedestal, whereas I think we should be putting skill, you know, developing good qualities. I mean, you know, to learn to do whatever it is, to do something really well.
Yes.
You've got to put a lot of dedication into it, patience. You've got to have intelligence,
and you've got to just love. You've got to love
what you're doing. And I think all those qualities for the individual make for a really healthy society.
Yeah.
Whereas if we just say no, the goal is to be rich and famous, doesn't matter how you get there, then I think it's not helpful to people.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about some of the people you've worked with, because that's interesting. And you know, people like Peter Gabriel and Sting, and you know, obviously Jeff Beck and some. Who have you really enjoyed working with, and who have you learned from?
I mean, all of
well, I
them.
mean, we know. I mean, who have you found most inspiring to work with?
I've found all. I mean, I'm not. There's there's moments. It's like working with someone long term, especially touring. It's sort of like, it's a bit like being in a family, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, because you're with them a lot, you know, lots and lots of time is spent with them, and you know, you have your ups and downs. Sometimes they get on your nerves, and sometimes you have to adjust to the situation and bring something to the music. But there's so many lessons personally that I've learned.
So were you writing? I mean, when you were touring, did you have time to write music, your own music?
I did some. I mean, I always used to sort of, before each tour, you know, you might spend 6 weeks away or 2 months sometimes even. And I'd always say to myself, right, I'm going to be really disciplined this tour. I'm going to write some really good music, really make the most of my downtime, because you have quite a lot, you know, in hotels and things. Yeah. But I didn't. The reality of it is, once you're there doing it, it's actually.
We all have these. We always have these great expectations of what we're going to do. I'd like to actually finish with a little question, which is not related really to music. It's just what other interests do you have now? Because I think you're in a really happy place right now. So you know, what other interests do you have?
I like. Well, my sort of little guilty pleasure is that I play chess online.
Oh, do you?
Well, it's not only guilty; it's a bit of a waste of time, really, you know. Yeah. But I do that, and I'm quite into meditation as well.
Yeah, always okay. Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. Well, it's really nice to meet you, and good luck with the album.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.